Welcome to Jump School. I'm your host, Hassan Ali, aka The Style Jumper. On this podcast, we'll be discussing how to jumpstart your mindset by dressing well, boost your style, confidence, and etiquette. I'll also be discussing things like mental and physical health, the power of creativity to rejuvenate your soul. The following is an excerpt from Instagram Live. Let's go.
I wanted to start off, man, just kind of getting, letting everybody know, because everybody don't know who you are, Thrash. I've been following you, bro. I swear. The first time I saw you, it was online, actually on TV, on Apple TV. And Apple TV had the Fusion channel.
Mm-hmm.
And you and Norris was on there. And I'm like, who is these boys? You know what I mean? So I started doing some research, found some videos of you guys. At the time, you were under the moniker Norris and Thrash, if I'm not mistaken. And, let everybody know you're a talented author. You got your coffee table book, you're a designer, former athlete, barber. So let everybody know, man, who you are. And let's talk about, how do you guys pronounce that home? Is it Helen? Hawkinsville? That's how you say it?
Hawkinsville.
Hawkinsville, yeah, man. So let everybody know what's up.
Yeah, man. So from the beginning, I'm a small town, you know what I'm saying, dude. Like our population is like 4,600, I think it is, something like that. You know
That's sticks. We call that sticks back home.
Yeah, in fact. So but yeah, man, but I've always, I grew up same just like everybody else, from the neighborhood, thinking the only way to get out the hood is to, play some ball, or do something like that, or So I grew up being an athlete my whole life. Like basketball, football, ran track. I was gifted at those things. Like I remember me and my dad used to bump heads because he said that he never knew what I had a passion for because everything always came too easy for me.
Yeah.
So he was like real tough on me because he just didn't. He basically, I didn't have no kind of. He didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't have a lane that I was trying to go. I was just like every other kid. I was just playing ball. It wasn't like, oh, I'm a die-hard basketball player. I'm a die-hard football player. Just like, bro, I go outside and hoop with everybody else, and I play for the school or whatever. But it took me being an adult to actually sit down with him, like, bro, like, why was you so hard on me, bro? Like, I wasn't no bad kid. I didn't get in no real trouble. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he explained to me, he was just like, you never had a passion for nothing. Well, that you showed, at least. He's like, everything that you did just came too easy for you. So you didn't have a passion for it. You just did it because it just came natural.
Yeah.
And that made a lot of sense to me. And because when I think back to it, it's like a lot of stuff I did. Like I really didn't have too much passion for it. You know what I mean? I remember being in the locker room my junior and my senior year during basketball season, and we lost in the playoffs by 1 point both years.
Oh wow.
And I remember my teammates and stuff in there crying and stuff, and I'm sitting there looking around the locker room. I'm cool. I'm like, bro, what are y'all tripping over? Like, it's a basketball game.
Just a game.
Yeah, but to me, it was that simple. But everybody else, like, people had real passion for this stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So I grew up my whole life thinking I was just gonna be an athlete. I ended up getting a full scholarship. To go to college for football. Unfortunately, I ended up getting kicked out of school my sophomore year. So that kind of forced me to kind of figure my shit out. You know what I mean? So I didn't know what I really wanted to do. I was a kid. I was 18, 19 years old. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just thought I was going to go to the NFL. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
That's all I really knew.
That's what we're going to do. We go to school. I know, like for me, being from down south, man, at least for me, I went to school to play football. I didn't go to school for nothing else.
Yeah, exactly.
I just wanted to play, and when football season was over, I was checked out, man. Mm-hmm. The only reason why I stayed in school to get to the next grade so I could play football next year. That was it. And there wasn't a lot of conversation about college, even about studying. And both my parents were college grads, but we never really had that conversation because all I was doing was playing ball. And coming from a small town, you go to the barbershop Saturday morning, your name in the paper, people talking about the game last night. So you geeked up on that and you waiting for the next season. I only play football and you play multiple sports. So for you, it had to be crazy because, you just rolling, every season you was in the paper. So obviously for you thinking, hey, my ticket and my opportunities will be through sports. And, so your dad was, if I'm not mistaken, a mechanic, right?
Yeah, so like I didn't really come from. I mean, my dad. I mean, in a sense, I guess that's a form of, you know what I'm saying, creative. You know what I'm saying, from where we from. Like he used to paint cars and stuff like that. But like he never really exposed me to that lifestyle. Like I'm really just not getting into cars heavy now at 31 years old because he never wanted me to follow him in that sense of, you know what I'm saying, that hard manual labor and stuff like that. He was like, you way smarter than having to work in a barber in a body shop. You know what I'm saying, inhaling all these fumes and doing all that stuff. So he never really exposed me to that when I was young. But yeah, so like I never really had a creative around me that really exposed me to things. It took me literally searching the internet and just being able to, when I got out of my parents' house, to go to college and meet other people who were into other things. Like it literally just took that genuineness for me to kind of find my lane. And of course, you know what I'm saying, me being from the South, I picked up on a lot of different things as far as like style. Like you see, I wear a lot of Ralph Lauren. When I'm not wearing my own designs, I'm wearing probably Ralph Lauren. That's because he's an American designer. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is what I remember symbolizing success when I was a young hood baby. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, that's why you always see me. I got three main styles. I'm either super preppy, I'm either sartorial out in a suit head to toe, or I'm like in some kind of like rocker style with biker jackets and boots and something like that. You know what I mean? Like those are my three lanes. Like that's just who I am. And I exist in all of those worlds very genuinely.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. It's funny. I was getting dressed. I was like, man, I got to tighten up today. Thrash gonna be on it. You rock the polo, man. I should have found, something more relaxed. But it's all good because, one of the things that I noticed with you, and I think about dandies and sartorial, that sartorial look, is that you, although I'm quite a bit older than you, it was actually me seeing you and probably Dre, 3 Stacks, that like give me that green light saying, you know what, you can do it in a way that is uniquely you, but from a complexion standpoint, similar. Just the coming from back home, we're gonna do what we want to do anyway. You know what I mean? And I remember going back home. I remember coming back because I used to live in LA as well. So I remember it's like early 2000s, man, and I'm rocking vintage clothes, and I got back home, man. Everybody was like, man, you boy, he gay or something? My sister's friend, my cousins, they were like, what's going on? Because, to your point, you with labels when you grow up back home. That's all you see. You're going to see Polo. Back in the day, it was like Tommy or whatever, because I was like into prep, preppy clothes as well. So, that's the lane that people usually see you. And you leave home, you come back, and you go and wade left in your look, people start scratching their head, so
they're looking at you crazy.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna lie, like that's the beauty of it to me now, because I broke down that barrier a long time ago. When they saw that my style had changed, and but when I come back, I'm still talking the same. I'm still, I still got the same experiences. I'm still the same person. You know what I mean? Like, so that broke down a lot of barriers with that stuff. Now it's like that's what they expect from me. Anything different, you know what I mean? They look at me crazy now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and I got a lot of the little young kids that look up to me for that, and who ain't afraid to kind of be bold and, live how they want to live now. You know what I mean? So that's what my whole message with, the whole like fashion side of things is just showing like other little hood babies that, bro, you ain't got to be confined to just what, the people around you trying to tell you, you got to be like. That's why it's even hard for me, like, when I go home, it's hard for me to stay there a long time, because it's even hard for me to hold certain conversations, because after 2 days, we'd have had every conversation that can possibly be had. Now we back to what we was 20 years ago.
Oh, man.
We back to having the conversation we had 20 years ago. You know what I mean? And
that's tough. It's really tough, because you've seen and experienced so much. And it's no disrespect to everybody back home. It's that the conversations are so different. You can't take back what you've seen. You can't take back those experiences. So there's a limit to even what some people's imagination is. You know what I mean? So when you having these conversations, and you, like you say, after 2 days, man, you start talking about stuff that way back, and half the stuff you forgot. You know what I mean? So it's like, what can we talk about to bring us current, and how do you bridge that gap, as far as conversation? So I really feel that, man. So, the way that I'm doing the channel is that I'm breaking it down into personal, mindset and business. So, to go back to personal for you, what was it like at in college, down in Charleston? Most people don't know that about you. You know what I mean? So what was that experience?
Man, so college for me was very eye-opening because, like I told you, my dad kept real tight reins on me. You know what I mean? When I was in school, because he knew that I was a big athlete, I was popular and all this stuff. So he knew what I was capable of getting into. So he really kind of kept tight reins on me. So I didn't really experience a lot during high school. You know what I mean? When I was with my dad, when I was with my mom, I could kind of, move around and do what I wanted to do, whatever. But like I said, I was always still a good, responsible kid. So I ain't never really get in no trouble. But my dad wasn't trying to gamble. You know what I mean? So when I got to Charleston, I was involved with a lot of crazy stuff that I'm almost embarrassed to even say I was involved with back then, you know what I mean? But growing pains, just learning is new experiences, you know what I mean? I was into a lot of stuff. Man, we used to fight so much in college, bro. And it wasn't even like that we were the aggressors. It was more so of we these young kids who so-called dress weird, coming to someone else's city, and you have a lot of problems with the locals, you have a lot of problems with stuff like that, you know what I mean? So when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, I was into a lot of a lot of craziness. But I will say that Charleston is a place where I became a man. You know what I mean? Because before I came there, I was a kid. I was living in my parents' house. But when I got kicked out of school, I told my dad that the number one thing is I was never going to be a statistic and be that little hood baby that had to go back, who's so talented, got a scholarship to go to college, got kicked out of college, and then had to go back and still had to move back home in his parents' house. So I told my dad, I was like, I'm not coming home. That ain't what I'm going to do. I'm going to figure this out regardless. So I went back to Charleston. I went and got all my stuff off campus. I moved in with my girlfriend at the time. I think I stayed with her for maybe 3 months. And so what ended up happening was I was always promoting clubs and stuff. I was a party promoter when I was in school and stuff. And I used to. So one of the big promoters, my boy T-Rock, he was a big local promoter. And I used to do a lot of parties with him, but I didn't know him personally. I only knew him through the club. So somebody ended up telling me, they was like, T-Rock a barber too. I was like, what? So I went to holler at T-Rock, and he was like, yeah, bro, I can help you get in the barbershop, help you get your license and this and that. And I was like, run it. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I already had, locked down.
Because you was cutting hair back home. You was already cutting hair with everybody.
Yeah, I had started cutting hair when I was in high school with my junior year.
Yeah, okay.
So what happened was I already had my own clientele because the college scene.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I started working in the barbershop, I got my little money together. I moved out of my girlfriend's apartment, got my own apartment, got a car, all that stuff. So now I'm 19 years old. All of my friends and all my peers are still in college. But now I'm hanging out with the with the grown folks. You know what I mean? I'm learning from the grown folks. So that kind of helped me mature a lot faster, you know what I mean, from what I had been doing in college. But still, even past that, I was still thinking a lot different because I still had the luxury of the youth that I had. I was thinking further than them. I learned a lot from my OGs, but I also thought past them. So I was looking at TV. I'm sitting in a barbershop and I'm looking at TV and I'm like, bro, whoever cutting these celebrities' hair, you know what I'm saying? These actors, these rappers, I'm like, they ain't getting no $12 for a haircut. I know that. I just know that. So my whole thing was like, man, let me put myself in a position where I can mingle with the big dogs. So when the opportunity was given to me to move to LA, I jumped on it. 2 weeks later, I was on a flight, which was I don't know. I'm pretty sure you probably know, but that was my first flight ever. I had never been on an airplane before, bro. I was 22 years old. I had never been on an airplane.
Yeah, man. I was 18 first time for me, so I know what that's like, man. You need to fly because you just get in the car where you need to go, and everybody and your family was within a 20-mile radius for the most part. So we no need to get on the plane. So I feel that, man. So I know that was like a shock for you. So let me ask you this. So when did you get into modeling? Because I think modeling was that Charleston, and how did that jump off? Okay, so how did that hop off? Does that make sense?
It all goes back to the barbershop. I was in the barbershop, and this chick I knew hit me up. She was like, "Hey, Thrash, I know this photographer. He's looking for new male models to start working with." She was like, "You interested?" And I was like, man, and at the time, I'm a little hood, baby. I'm thinking model. I'm thinking, man, that's weird. They ain't doing all that weird shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I was like, no, I'll check it out, you know what I mean? So, I ended up linking up with this photographer named Terrence Antonio.
Okay.
And we started just shooting stuff. And the way, and it's like, because I already kind of had a following, and I know saying like, that was back with Facebook. That was way before Instagram and all that. It was Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah.
And, like we both started kind of getting a lot of recognition for it because I had a pretty good audience on Facebook. So he even gives me credit to his career today because of when he started shooting with me.
That's what's up.
Which still I took a lot of backlash for that. You know what I mean? I took a lot of backlash for when I started shooting, when I was doing photo shoots and just like underwear and like, you know what I'm saying, athletic stuff with my body and stuff like that. Like everybody was like, bro, what you doing, bro? Like you on some weird shit.
We don't see it back home. You don't see that.
Yeah.
On a day-to-day basis on the regular.
Yeah. So but moving forward, I used to style all of my own photo shoots because I was just into the way I was into style, I was into clothes. And the photographers I was working with, they started asking me to help style their other shoots because I styled my own stuff so well. So that's how the whole styling thing came into about. But at the same time, because I'm in Charleston, it ain't really no market for it.
Yep.
Two, I don't know shit about the actual world and concept of styling. I just know how to put clothes on.
Yeah.
So I don't know the real, what it takes to be a stylist. So I still fought that for a while. Like, nah, you know what I'm saying? It ain't really no market for it. I can't make no money off of it, whatever. So when I ended up coming to LA, that's when everything got put in hyperdrive. That's when the stuff that Terrence taught me with modeling, I was able to actually start booking real gigs and actually knowing what I was doing. I remember it may have been my first, like my second or third day in LA. I was recognized in the club here in LA by some work that I had done in Charleston, by some photography work. And I was like, this is crazy.
Never know, man. You never know.
LA is crazy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's how the whole styling thing came about, man. And then when I came to LA, I was just able to kind of learn. I started interning with other people and stuff, and just kind of learning the game, soaking up game. And I feel like that's one thing that is good about being from the South is like we really pay respect to our OGs and we really listen to the old heads. You know what I mean? So I've never been, too big for my britches to learn from somebody. I ain't never been, I ain't never had no ego to someone who could teach me something that I didn't already know. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's a trait that a lot of people from the South have. Is like, no, you respect your OGs because they gonna put you on game.
100%. Because most of the time I learned from back home, man. You call it OGs. I just say, everybody's older than me was that they have no reason to lie to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they already know their path in life, and they want to pour into you. They want to say, hey, man, don't do this, go there. I wished I did this, or you got to think of it a different way. You know what I mean? Because obviously when you're young and you have no real life experience, you just think this thing, life is just easy. You know what I mean? And you can just do what you want to do, but you have to take those jewels and take those small conversations, especially at the barbershop, because, that's where we learn a lot anyway. And that's where you see your first entrepreneurs. That's where you see everybody in town. That's where you see, those that are, who were athlete, the best in town, and then now they all in the street. They might be selling, they might be hustling, to the preacher in town or whatever the case may be. Yeah. So you're always listening and learning as you chopping up the heads. So go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, speaking of that, it's like that's what a lot of people. I think people would never realize it. So I never really spent a lot of time in barbershops. So because like my dad he didn't really care much about vanity. You know what I mean? He was not saying that he looked like a slob, and he just he had like a little afro. He just keep kind of patted down. You know what I mean? He was just a simple man. You know what I mean? So the fact that I wanted to get my hair cut every week, like my dad don't want having that, even though a haircut was $8, it's just what I'm saying. It didn't make sense to my dad.
Yeah.
So I never really spent a lot of time in barbershops, and that's one of the other reasons I started cutting hair is because I couldn't get my hair cut as much as I wanted to.
Got it.
So I never really spent a lot of time in barbershops. When I was young, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I was too young to really know, you know what I'm saying, to really pick up what was going on. And then that's back when I was younger. That's back when barbers were really old heads. You know what I mean? That's when they were really just the older guys. You wasn't young barbers back then.
No.
You know what I mean?
I don't even remember nobody young. cutting heads. It was like, you're right. It's like somebody's uncle, somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So, so I never really spent a lot of time in barbershops, but once I became a barber myself, exactly what you're saying. It's like now I go from having a dope dealer in my chair to a police officer in my chair to a lawyer in my chair to a doctor in my chair. Exactly. You know what I mean? All within one day.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of game to soak up over years. You know what I mean? That's a lot of knowledge to soak up over years.
Hey, tell me how you named them haircuts, man. You had me cracking up.
So I want to say it started in college, but so I nicknamed my haircuts two bitches and a blowjob, right? That's me being a young nigga. I was just young, wild, young, stupid. But I used to call it that because I used to claim that every time you came to get it cut by me, you guaranteed to get you two bitches and a blowjob. So the thing is, because it was so weird and catchy, like people caught on to it. Like Casey's really coming to barbershop. Like, hey, bro, I gotta get that two bitches and a blowjob, bro. And so
that's so funny to me, man. Because I can see that, especially back home. You just being real, and people gonna come in and they're gonna pick it up so quick, and they already know you. If you tight on the clippers, they know they're gonna look good when they walk out, and that's one of the things I love about a transformation when it comes to the barbershop. The barbershop can really shift your mindset from when you walking in, your hair looking crazy and you feeling kind of bad. You step out of that chair, when you hear that thing pop, you like, oh man, you hear that, they wipe your face, do your lineup.
Yep, when that oil smell it, you turn to a whole new man.
Whole new person you walk back out.
You trying to see as many people before you get home as you can.
All day. Let me ask you this, man. Did you get that El Camino that you posted, man? Is that yours? That white El Camino?
Yeah. That was my gift to myself, man. So I took it as a personal challenge to just me, because I'm very stern. I'm very strict with myself. Very devoted to things that I want to do. Mm-hmm. So when I moved to LA, I sold my truck back in Charleston that I had back in Charleston, and I went 8 years without having a car out here.
What?
Yeah, I went.
How was you moving in LA? I mean, well, I guess
I was
days, but
using the train, taking a bus. You know what I mean? Ubering when Uber finally got popular, but maybe before Uber popular, like a lot of people didn't know. The majority of the time that I was out here in LA, bro, I was really fucked up, bro. I was like, not spiritually or mentally or anything, just like financially, bro. I ain't had shit.
It's not easy.
No one ever knew it because the way I carried myself, the type of people I associate myself with, you know what I mean? But I was living on couches for the majority of my time in LA. You know
so when did that switch happen for you where you kind of stabilized a little bit?
Literally right before my son was born.
Oh wow, so that's 2017, right?
Yep. That's when he just like switched and everything just kind of stayed consistent. It's like it was no more like struggle. It's now just like, okay, let's maintain and build. But before that, I was sleeping, like before I moved into this apartment where I'm at, bro, I was sleeping on the couch.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
2017, I was sleeping on the couch. When I found out my son was when I found out his mom was pregnant with him, I was on the couch. We had that conversation sitting on my couch /bed/living room.
I swear, man, I'm getting chills because I know what that's like in LA. Back home, you're not gonna be sleeping on no couch. You have some place to stay.
Yeah, you got family. You got all this family. Yeah.
But when you leave and you go, especially someplace like LA, and you trying to make these connections, the people that we talked to and we hung out with, everybody back home, see on TV.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So for them, it's like, okay, you're in the ranks with these people some kind of way because, you're styling, you're modeling, you're cutting heads. But LA is such a grind, and me thinking that you spent, 8 years without a car in LA. LA is not an easy place to get around anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And if you got to navigate with the train, with the bus, that's nuts. And just to be able to have people in your corner to even let you sleep on the couch, that's where, you find out who really in your corner, because, people allow you to have that mind, to make those moves and to take those opportunities to stay with them, man, because, most people know how tricky it is to live in LA like that.
Yeah, and like I said, I pride myself on being a genuine guy, man. Just being a good guy, never doing wrong by anybody. You know what I mean? So, that's why I've been. I'm saying I've been blessed to have a lot of good people around me that support me and here for me. Like I remember when within my first year, I thought I was gonna be one of the people that had to move back to the crib and figure it out and try to come back and try it again.
Yeah.
And Norris like, nah, bro, we ain't doing that. He's like, bro, you gonna figure this out.
So when did you meet Norris? Would you meet Norris?
I met Norris like I had maybe been out here 2 months maybe when I met Norris.
Oh, okay. So you met him in LA.
Yeah, I met him. Yeah, when I moved out here.
Okay, so aliens recognize aliens. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that's dope, man. That you guys met out there.
But I don't really hang out with a lot of people. You don't really see me move around with too many people. But I have a lot of people that I fuck with, and a lot of people that fuck with me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and you can't meet a person on the street that tell you Thrash and fuck me over. Thrash did some dirty shit. Like, you can't meet a person on the street. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's because, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm from the South. Like, we got Southern hospitality, man. I feel you do right by everybody. You know what I mean? Even if people that I don't really care for, like, I ain't got no beef with you. It's just, you know what I'm saying? We can, you know what I'm saying, go our separate ways, do what we got to do. But, like, bro, I ain't gonna be not bad mouthing you in the street and doing all that. Like, all that ain't necessary.
Yeah, you just keep it moving.
Yeah.
So when you navigating through LA, first of all, what was the idea for the dreads, man? I was shocked when I saw him was gone. I was like, oh no, why cut his dreads?
Yeah, it was an emotional day.
I can imagine. So what was that? Was that something that you decided as far as a persona for you?
Nah.
How that evolved?
So originally my hair came about. I actually kind of had like a little mini fro when I moved to LA.
Mm-hmm.
And but I wasn't taking care of it properly. And I remember I picked my hair out one day and like my hair was so uneven that I was like, I just gotta cut this shit off and start over.
Yeah.
So I cut it off and I started regrowing my hair. And then I ended up having like a bald fade, but it was kind of like a little flat top, little nappy flat top situation. And the chick that I was dealing with at the time, I didn't realize, but she's like twisting my hair in my sleep.
Mm.
And so I used to wake up every morning like, damn, my shit like a little more twisted up than it was the day before. She's like, I been twisting your shit in your sleep.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit. I said, well, if you been, you know what I'm saying, if you've been doing that, like you might as well just go ahead and do it. So the thing, I never had a full head of dreads back in my old set. I never because I had a bald fade.
Yeah.
So I just started letting it grow. And what happened was when me and Norris went to London, I was trying to get somebody to retwist my hair the night before and couldn't find somebody.
Mm.
So when I went to London, I didn't have a fresh retwist, and I was like, "Fuck it, I ain't never twisted my hair again." So that's kind of when the freeform started, and I just started. So eventually, I ended up like grouping them into different groups that I wanted them in. That's how I ended up having like the 6 locks, and then those 6 I ended up grouping them into 3. But it was just something that it was just a way of me expressing myself, doing something dope, being creative, being an individual. Nothing forced about it. I used to see where it went, and I was like, oh well, shit. Let's just see where it goes from here. It wasn't nothing super predetermined or anything like that. But after me having my hair for so long and finding out how many people resonated with me and my story and stuff, and people started growing locks because of me, I was like, damn, this is something that I really have a following for, and people really respect me for. So I knew at that point I wanted to have locks for the rest of my life.
Mm.
So, but the thing is, the fact that I had the side of my head shaved and I was about to turn 30, I was like, I know that I don't want to have the side of my head shaved with dreads on top for the rest of my life. So I was like, I'm about to be 30. I might as well just chop it off, start fresh, and regrow my hair. So that's what this is now. I'm in the process of just regrowing my hair and having a full head. Yeah, because it just got like having hair just on top, like it kind of confined me to only being able to kind of wear that little bun. Like I couldn't really do much with it. You know what I mean? So yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at with it now.
So when did you was introduced to thrifting? Was that something that came in Charleston or in LA? So how did it all evolve for you?
So yeah, man. So rest in peace to Renee. It was a stylist lady in Charleston named Renee that I met through the photographer Terrence. Mm-hmm. And she's the one who introduced me to thrifting. And So I just kind of took it and ran with it from her because she was a female, I was a male, so I was thrifting, you know what I'm saying, menswear stuff and suits and things like that. And that's kind of what I really started developing a name for. And when I moved to LA is when I started learning about tailoring. So that took my style to the next level. One thing to wear cool vintage pieces and stuff like that and colorful stuff. It was another thing to actually know about tailoring and being able to create these silhouettes and create, you know what I'm saying, and enhance things and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so Renee, she passed a while back, and it took me a while to even find out someone because I don't really like deal with Facebook much.
Yeah.
But someone that was close to her messaged me on Facebook to tell me that she had passed. And I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure why or how. I mean, not why, but what happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, she passed a while back, and it took me a while to even learn that she had passed. But yeah, she's definitely the person who took me and taught me thrifting because she was a stylist in Charleston, and that's kind of what she used to create a lot of her looks. Because I tell you, it wasn't really no market out there, so it wasn't no budgets and big things like that.
Sure,
So
you have to be creative. You have to be creative.
So she kind of taught me the reins on that, and I just kind of took it, you know what I'm saying, and put my little extra, you know what I'm saying, a little bit of swag to it.
Your swag to it. So with tailoring, was that, you know, I remember watching and actually I watched it again from Fusion. Was that when you met Rich? So I've seen Rich because seeing Rich blow up, you know, with his work, it's been dope to see because again, I've been following you for probably 5 years or so, and just seeing you evolve, you know, to what you're doing now, but also seeing Rich because I remember I was like, that dude looked familiar, you know, and all of a sudden, you know, Rich started doing his thing. So, you know, how did you guys meet, and you know, and just kind of your relationship with that?
Yeah, so now the tailor thing didn't start with Rich. I was already, you know what I'm saying, using tailors and things like that far before I met Rich. But I think Norris had originally met Rich, and then we all kind of linked up to kind of just see how we could, you know what I'm saying, power up. We were just like, bro, we all three, you know what I'm saying, young black brothers, you know what I'm saying, who respect the culture of, you know what I'm saying, menswear.
Yeah.
And Rich is a little older than me and Norris is, so he had been in the game for a while. He had been tailoring for like Xenia at the time, and he had owned his own cleaners and tailor shop and stuff like that back in Memphis. And, so even though he was still young, he wasn't like an old head, but he was older than us. Yeah, we still soaked up a lot of game from Rich at the time.
Sure.
You know what I mean? We definitely had our own lane because Rich was a little more, I don't want to call it conservative, but he's a little more traditional. And Norris and I, we were just all about as crazy and wild as you could be. You know what I mean? But we all kind of respected each other for you know what I'm saying, for what we all brought to the table.
Yeah.
That's why like I said, my loyalty is one thing. So man, is a whole nother thing. So when me and Norris started doing like little TV spots and stuff like that, even though we were working with different tailors than actual Rich, because Rich was just in a whole different price bracket than what me and Norris could afford at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he was the homie.
Yeah.
So if I'm gonna put anybody on that stage, if I'm gonna give anybody that platform,
gotta be your boy
to be on TV, it's gonna be one of my own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I used to put that's why we used to put Rich a part of everything that we did television wise.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, give him some love.
Yeah.
So talk about, now we're gonna go sort of into the business side of things. Like what was your transition from the thrifting and getting it tailored to start looking at Thrash Bespoke, and how did that evolve?
Man, so I actually got to give a lot of props to my boys, Rodolfo and Andrew at Pocket Square Clothing. So they when they started doing their custom suiting and make to measure program, I started designing some of my stuff with them originally. So and then because, like I said, we're genuine friends, we're genuine homies. So they ended up teaching me a lot of things about the depths of actually making clothes that I didn't know. I knew about tailoring, I knew about that type of stuff, but I didn't know the whole thing about, you know what I'm saying, the whole process of designing from nothing.
Yeah.
And so they helped me out with a lot of that knowledge. And then once I got to the point where I was comfortable, and I already had a clientele because I was already styling and I was known for that.
Yeah.
they taught me, everything that they knew, and I went off and started doing my own thing because it was never a conflict of interest because we had two totally different clientele. We had two totally different clientele, client bases. So like even to this day, we still go back and forth about stuff. They come to me about certain stuff, or they'll come borrow fabric books from me. I come borrow fabric books from them. You know what I mean? Because it's all love. You know what I mean? There's no competition there because we all in this for the same thing. Like, bro, it's too much. It's too much success and access out here for everybody for us to be trying to be stingy with shit and stuff like that.
That's something, man, that's really important that people need to know. It's enough for all of us. We just need to nurture our lanes and nurture the relationships that we have, because we just think that it's a limited amount of money and a limited amount of relationships. And once those things are used up, in theory, then there's no more. You know what I mean? But just nurturing and developing these relationships is huge. And for you, it's just awesome to see. And so, do you have, like, right now, do you have like a showroom? Like, if I, wanted to get a piece of your garments, how would that process look? What's to break down the whole process? Like, you meet me, I'm saying Thrash, I'm just flying out here from LA. I'm gonna be out here for a couple of weeks or maybe a month. I might be doing a film or whatever the case may be. How would I get a piece of your product?
Yeah, so I have a showroom and office in downtown LA, on 9th and Main. So yes, definitely. You just come in. We consult, figure out what exactly it is that you're looking for. We can go through different fabric swatches, different things like that. Or if you have something more specific that you want sourced, that can be done as well. After that, we take, all of your measurements, from head to toe. We take every measurement that we would need to make this personalized directly to you. You know what I mean? So we figure out what lining materials you want. We figure out what exterior materials you want. We find out the details that you want to all your clothing. We figure out the construction of it, how you want it. Do you want, what type of climate is it that, you're designing these clothes to be in? Like, we figure out all those, those very special details. And we go from there, man. It's pretty natural to me. And that's why I love doing it, because it doesn't feel like work. It feels like this is a hobby of mine that I've learned to monetize. You know what I mean? It's not like I come into work and they're like, oh, bro, I gotta put in these 8 hours again. Like, it ain't like that for me. Like, I be ready to go to work. Like, Monday's like my favorite, because it's like, all right, bro, I've been chilling. I've been at home all Sunday. I'm ready to get back to it.
Ready to get back in it.
Yeah. So but yeah, so I mean, it's a fairly simple process, man. Like, literally just figuring out exactly what you want, and then I feel like for a custom tailor, your true value lies in how well you can take measurements and project that in the allowances that you allow for the clothes to sit the way that they need to sit. You know what I mean? So, like, because anybody can go take some measurements, but if you don't know the proper allowances to give for the clothes to sit perfectly, or to not be to give you the right amount of give here, the right amount of snug here, whatever, then that's where all the value lies. Because if you don't know what you're doing, stuff gonna come out too tight or it's gonna come out too big. It's just it's not gonna give you the effect that you would think of when you think of having something custom made.
Yeah. So, it's interesting, and you don't know this about me, but one of the things that I went to school for fashion design in LA, and one of the people who was one of my biggest mentors, and at the time, now I'm talking, this is from like 98 to going back from, I was in San Diego, got out of the Navy in 2000, and from 2000 to 2005, pretty much I was in LA. But someone that I've seen you take photos with has been my mentor for over 20 years, and that's TJ Walker.
I was gonna guess who.
So TJ has been, being around TJ, and he's from, he's country too. You know what I mean? So I love, to your point of just making that connection with people, and someone from, even though he's from Mississippi, for us, that's back home.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So having those type of people in your life and seeing someone who's been in the industry so long, for me, I was designing clothes. I had like a menswear contemporary denim line, and my production. So first, and I was going to ask you about your production process. How big is your team as far as manufacturing? when I was working with TJ, partnered me with a pattern maker, and then there was a small team, a company that was in his office where he was working out of. Actually, was like a warehouse, and there were seamstresses there and guys who did sewing as well. Mm-hmm. But I decided, I got this big contract with Fred Siegel.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and it was in Santa Monica, and so I'm sure like you, we're the models for our own clothes, right? So no one's gonna wear it better than us. Mm-hmm. But then when I got that order, I said, okay, how can I make my margins work? So instead of working with the people that was right there in LA, I decided I'm gonna go and mass produce in China. Mm-hmm. And obviously, as you know, to have a sample made, the sample needs to be done. You need to have that sent back to you before anyone does any type of mass production. Mm-hmm. Well, again, this is before the internet, really. This is like early 2000s. Yeah. No, Facebook, none of that was out. I got my whole order back from them fools from China. They did everything without sending a sample. So I got all these clothes, all my money's gone because is all committed to this particular, manufacturer, and everything was messed up. Bruh. Damn. Everything. I mean, my heart was broken. That's not, I swear to God, man, that's not packed up. I left. I probably was gone from LA within 2 months after that. Because it was everything. Yeah, man. So for you, and I wanted to make that preface because, for you, how do you stay sane and maintain a level of business and staying in control of the process, starting out your business like that? So do you have like a small team? What does that look like to you? Because for me, dude, that shut me down. And I promise you, bro, I stopped modeling everything for like a decade. It wasn't until like 2017 when I got back in front of a camera.
Yeah, I can definitely see how that would. Bro, that's tough.
Yeah, man.
And like I said, I think we all go through similar things to that, like maybe not to that magnitude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a team of tailors that I work with. Basically, every garment that I do, I have a different person for everything. So I have a different person that makes my shirts, then that makes my casual things. I have a different person that makes my suits. Then me. So so I have certain people. If I have like a rush order for a film or for TV, I have different tailors that I go to that can knock out stuff fast.
God, and it's all in LA.
Yeah, everything's in LA. So but yeah, so what else I was gonna say? Oh, going back to TJ. So I'm not sure if you know this, but me and TJ's office is directly across the hall from each other.
Nah,
so when I moved into the building, when I moved into my office, I didn't know that at first. And then once I found out, I was like, holy, like this is, especially being a little young kid from the South, you know what I mean? It's like, oh snap, bro. Like my office is across the hall from Cross Colors. And then so I'm all about style and design and aesthetics. So originally when I opened it wasn't just my office, it was a showroom. So I was doing a wardrobe rental service.
Okay.
And so I had it. The decor was, pretty dope. I'm all about vintage things and stuff like that. So it's a lot of Persian rugs and a lot of different type of wood grains and things like that.
Yeah.
And TJ, he came in one day. He knocked on my glass, asked me if he'd come in. I was like, yeah. So he came in. He's like, brother. I just want to thank you for the aesthetic that you brought to this building. Because we needed this floor. Because a lot of people, their office, because the floor that I'm on is all glass front showroom spaces. So, but there are people in there who still don't care about things like that, and they have this. You can see clear into their spot, but it looks like nothing. Yeah. So he was thanking me. He was like, "Bro, for being a young black brother coming in here, and you really brought this floor to life with, the way you got your space looking. And I really appreciate that." And it's like everything he says to me, I just be like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? Like, thank you. What are you talking about? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, so we've developed a really good close relationship over time, and it was so dope for him to even want to support all the things that I do. Like he put some of his vintage cross color pieces in my showroom. You know what I mean? At one point, and He bought my book. You know what I mean?
Oh
Me and
yeah.
stuff. You know what I mean? It's like he's really supportive, man, and I really appreciate him. And he'll never know how much it means to me. You know what I'm saying? To have a relationship with him.
Same, man. I met TJ in probably 1996. So, and at that time, cross color had kind of like gotten quiet, even for the past, it's only been the past like 5, I would say 10 years to 8 years, if you will, when cross color started kind of like reemerging. But I remember, I know all the stories, and TJ has been such an instrumental person. And for those of you who don't know who TJ Walker is one of the co-founders and designers for cross colors, like old school cross colors. TJ Walker, a mentor, both of ours, which is amazing. And Thrash, can't believe that you like in the same hallway with TJ, and just to have that wisdom and knowledge right in your face, because TJ was the person who he gave me Illustrator files. That's how I learned how to design, like on the computer. It was from TJ, because he gave me like this brand that I was modeling for him with. He's like, hey, if you want to learn how to do this, here's these things. And because he's like, you would be a good designer. And I didn't, I'm fresh out of the Navy, and he's like, this is something that you could do. Because at the time, Tyson Beckford was the model of models back in those days. So in my head, that's all I wanted to do. But obviously that didn't work either. But, it's just beautiful to know that you meet these people on your path to help you evolve, and for you to have someone that's, that wise and that creative. TJ can draw. You already know he can draw. Just amazing, talented man. So that's dope, man. And I know when time is of the essence, and one of the things I want to do, I already know this relationship is going to go down. We didn't even talk about like style, cutting hair, in the industry. We didn't even talk about those kind of things. But one of the things I like to do at the end is there's two things. One, is sort of like I call it the creative's last supper. And so basically, I'm going to give you some names, and you're going to decide who you're going to have with you to chill and have that sit down. When you break bread.
All right.
So I think you're going to enjoy this. So UGK or MJG and 8 Ball.
Oh shit! What?
You already know.
I'm gonna go UGK.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to hear Pimp Pop this. I want to hear Pimp Pop this shit. Yeah, I want to hear UGK.
No doubt. Cass or Wu-Tang? Outcast or Wu-Tang?
Outcast all day for me.
You
know what I'm saying?
I already know, man. I'm just trying to set up, make it interesting. This someone you work with, Prince or Lenny Kravitz?
I actually work with Prince.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So who would you want to spend more time with? Would it be Lenny or Prince?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, I feel like to spend time with, I feel like maybe Lenny.
Yeah. So Michael B. Jordan or Chadwick Boseman?
I'm gonna go Michael.
Okay. Pac or Biggie?
I'm actually a Biggie fan.
Okay.
I'm actually a Biggie fan. I'm into like storytelling.
Yeah, Biggie was an amazing storyteller.
Yeah.
Pierre Moss or Virgil Abloh?
I don't know enough about how you pronounce it? Pierre?
Pierre.
Oh, Pierre
Moss.
Oh, I didn't know that's how you pronounce it. I don't know enough about Pierre Moss. I know the name, but I don't know enough about him.
Okay. All right. So we take Pierre out there. You got Virgil, and then you got what's homeboy from Fear of God?
Oh, Jerry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go just because of like I'm so close knit to the whole situation. Like I personally met Jerry on numerous occasions. I'm gonna go with Jerry.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Jerry because I've heard quite a few people saying like that when they met Virgil, it wasn't that good of a interaction. I've heard like numerous people say that. So it's just like not that I want to go off of someone else's experiences, but it's like if there must be something that's reoccurring. If you know what I'm saying, most of the people that I resonate with feel the same way about him.
Yeah, and I like Jerry. Just from the stuff that I've watched him, he seemed to be pretty grounded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ye or Jay?
Man, that's hard. That's hard for me. Yay or Jay? Fuck, that's a hard one, bro. I feel like I'm gonna go with Jay-Z, right? I'm gonna go with Jay-Z.
Tell me why.
Because I feel like I could get more accomplished by, you know what I'm saying, being able to sit down with Jay-Z. I feel like Kanye is, you may not understand what you soaked up from Kanye till a little while later.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying.
So I feel like I may be able to ask more questions with Jay-Z. I may be able to be, you know what I'm saying? I may be able to get more direct answers from Jay-Z. With Kanye, I'm not sure if I'll be able to get that. Because even with Kanye's music now, don't get to, I'm a Kanye fan on certain aspects. But I'll admit, it's like a lot of stuff I may not care for about Kanye, and then it has to grow on me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like if I had to choose between those two for the sit down, I might go with Jay.
Got it. J. Cole or Travis Scott?
I'm going to go J. Cole. I'm going to go J. Cole.
All right, so this one's a little different. Spike Lee or Jordan Peele?
Spike Lee or Jordan Peele?
I did my homework, bruh.
Yeah, Lee. You the GOAT for this. Spike Lee or Jordan Peele? What? Yeah, Lee. I'm gonna go. Oh my god, bro! Shit, you know how like when there's no right answer, I feel like there has to be a right answer for this. Like, oh my goodness,
that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one.
I'm gonna go with Jordan Peele. It's something so.
Tell me why.
It's something so interesting about him that I can't put a finger on. That I'd love to have the chance. Hold on, it may be like the mailman or something.
Yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, I'll just let him put it at the door. I feel like it's something so interesting about him that you probably won't be able to pick up until you sit down with him and let him explain it to you.
Yeah, I feel you on that. It's well, it's not for me to give my input on what your thoughts are, but I
want to hear yours. I want to hear yours.
Oh man, we'll come back to me then. Okay. So although I already called this person out, but I think the conversation between the two people, I think you'll find interesting. Pharrell or 3 Stacks?
I'm gonna go 3 Stacks.
All right.
3 Stacks. Like, I love Pharrell too. But
Yeah,
no doubt. 3 Stacks.
No doubt.
I feel like me and Dre would just. Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh! I didn't realize it was 1 o'clock. You good? I thought he was like the mailman or something. But
yeah, we was 5 minutes late, so that's why.
Oh, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. Okay.
So what was I saying? Oh yeah, I think me and Dre would just speak the same language.
Yeah. We'll jump
a lot better. Because I also take a lot of influence from San Andre. So yeah, I feel like we speak the same language, and it will kind of be a little more fluid.
All right. So Nicki Minaj or Cardi B?
Damn. Oh shit! I don't really care for neither one of them.
Okay, we're good. We don't. I was trying to throw some females in there, so the females.
Now I kind of want to answer it though. Like I want to come up with an educated answer to why I would choose one or the other though.
Okay.
I think I'd go with Nicki.
Yeah.
I think I'd go with Nicki.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing, to be honest. Now this one, I like to do like what, as far as a final question, if you will, is if you had 24 hours, to hang out with any creative, dead or alive, any question, hang out, the whole nine, who would it be and why?
Any creative to hang out with. Any creative to hang out with. Dang, because it's literally some people that I haven't. It's like people that I have in mind who I've actually had the chance. I mean, like I've had a chance to be around. I've had a chance to be around Kanye, listen to Kanye. You know what I'm saying, talking shit. I've had a chance to be around Farnsworth, and you know what I'm saying, and be a part of one of the shows that I did.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Andre, bro. I'm gonna go with Andre 3000. Because I feel like on so many levels, we have a deep conversation. For you know what I'm saying, Southern, being from the South, music tastes, personal style, I feel like we have so many things that kind of align. That I feel like that would be who it would be.
That would be me too. Me and Stacks, like when I think about everything and all of our answers is pretty much spot on, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I think it's funny because that's how, when you have this connection with someone, even if you don't know them personally, it's like this throughway. For Dre, growing up, I grew up in the 90s. Like I graduated, Dre's like a year younger than me. So being in high school and Cass come out, this is the first time, you had like everybody in Texas, but it's the first time someone really, really talked like us, like from home, like really resonated and felt like I grew up as a man with Dre, you know what I mean, in the music, and then see that evolution, style, conversation, just everything. I feel like the same as you. There's so much that I feel like I would glean and learn and also appreciate from being around Dre. And because to your point, as a lyricist, Stacks do 16 bars, it's like kill the whole song. Like, I don't care who he's on the song with. You're like, you waiting for Stacks to come on, and then he slide in. The way he come in, he just slide in there, and you're like, did he just say that? And you put it together, you start thinking about like, man, the way his mind think, man. But Thrash, man, it's been an honor and a pleasure to connect with you, bro.
If you want to see what I'm wearing on a day-to-day basis, check out my Instagram. There you'll find a ton of looks that maybe you can choose from, or at least get some inspiration. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you have any questions or suggestions, leave it in the comments below. We'll see you next time.